Hi, second graders. Today is Thursday, May 7th. You are going to be doing Day 9, Unlock the Problem, and the Day 9 math worksheet. Let's get started. Let's take a look at our Unlock the Problem. Follow along in your packet. Let's start by reading the problem. Tugo made 2 pizzas for himself and his 5 friends to share. He wants everyone to have an equal share of the pizza. Should he cut the pizzas into halves, thirds, or fourths? First, we need to know what is important and what do we know? Well, we know that Tugo made 2 pizzas. We also know that it was for him and his 5 friends. If there's 5 friends plus Tugo, that's plus 1, 5 plus 1, how many people are eating these pizzas? 6 people are eating these pizzas. So in the what do we know category, we need to say that Tugo and 5 friends, that there are 2 pizzas, and that everyone gets equal slices. So you could write that there are 6 people eating 2 pizzas, that they're splitting them equally. Pause here, and then when you're done writing in what do you know, come back. Let's look at problem number 2. It says, what are we trying to find? What is the question? The question in this case is, how should Tugo cut the pizzas so that everybody gets the same amount? So it says, should he cut them into halves, thirds, or fourths? So we need to decide how Tugo should cut the pizza equally so everyone can eat it. The next problem says, what is the unit? Well, friends, we don't know the unit because we're going to need to decide what the unit is. Is it halves? Is it thirds? Is it fourths? So for the unit, we don't know yet. You can leave that part blank. Make sure you fill in the second box. And when you're done, come back. Now for the good stuff. How are we going to use this information to solve the problem? What do you think the best strategy to solve this problem would be? If we need to decide how to cut 2 pizzas, how could we figure it out? I think the best strategy is going to be to model. We want to take a look at these pizzas. And we need to decide if we're going to cut them into halves, or if we're going to cut them into thirds, or if we're going to cut them into fourths. If you have a different strategy, that's fine. The strategy we're going to be using today, though, is modeling, so that we can wrap our heads around how to break up these pizzas equally. Now it's time to solve. Take a few minutes and try and figure it out yourselves. Pause here, and when you come back, we'll check our work together. Let's take a look at some ways that you could solve this. First, let's cut it into halves. If I have 6 friends, will each friend get the same amount of pizza? No. In fact, two friends wouldn't get any pizza because there are only 4 halves. 1, 2, 3, 4. So is halves going to be the right choice? No. I'll cross the word halves out. Let's try to cut it into thirds. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, not exactly equal, but we can see. All right. Will each friend get the same amount? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it looks like everyone will get about the same if Miss White could draw better. So it could be halves. Let's check to make sure that it's not, so it could be thirds, excuse me. Let's check to make sure that it's not fourths. I'm going to cut each pizza into fourths. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Everybody gets the same amount, but then there are 2 amounts left over, right? And since 2 is less than 6, everyone wouldn't get the same amount. So our best answer is going to be thirds. Much better drawing there. Do you see how if we cut them into thirds, everybody would get the same amount of pizza? It would be a lot of pizza. So now we need to answer in a complete sentence. We've modeled, we've drawn the picture, we've decided that the answer is thirds. So it says, should Tugu cut the pizza into halves, thirds, or fourths? And we know that the best answer is thirds. So your complete sentence could say, Tugu should cut the pizza into thirds. Do we know the unit now? Yes. Yes. The unit is thirds. So now you could fill in the unit up here. Good job, second graders. Let's do some fluency work. We need to decide here in each of these shapes what it's divided into. Is it divided into fourths, halves, thirds? What is it divided into? Take a look at this one first. How many parts is this shape divided into? It's divided into 4 parts. So this shaded area is 1/4. What about this shape? How many parts is it divided into? It's divided into 2 parts. And there's only 1 part shaded, so it's 1/2. What about this shape? What is this rectangle divided into? It's divided into 1, 2, 3 parts. So the part that's shaded is 1/3. Good work. Let's move on. What fraction do you need to color so that one whole is shaded? Well, in this first one, I see that it's broken up into 1, 2, 3 fourths. So since it's divided into 4 parts, I know I'm dealing with fourths. How many parts are not shaded? 1. So for this problem, I would only need to shade 1/4 more to make it one whole. Let's take a look at the circle. How many parts is it broken into? It's broken into 2 parts. How many parts are not shaded? Only 1 part is not shaded. So I would want to color in that 1 part or 1/2 to make the whole thing shaded. Let's move on. We'll try these shapes next. First, we want to decide how many parts make one whole. 1, 2, 3 parts. And how many parts would I need to color in? Just this 1 part. So I would need to color in 1/3 to make it a whole. What about this one? It's divided into 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. Only 1 part is shaded. I would need to color in 1, 2, 3 parts. So in this case, I would need to color in 3/4 to make one whole. Good work. This question asks a little bit different question. Which shape shows one whole shaded? It's not asking for what is shaded. It's asking for which one is all the way shaded. Take a look. Which circle is all the way shaded? This circle. It is one whole because the whole thing is shaded. Let's look at this. It asks us to identify the shaded area. Each of these is divided into the same amount of parts. They're each divided into 4 parts. We need to identify the parts that are shaded and then make our fractions from that. The parts that are shaded will be made into fourths. The first one only has 1 shaded, so the shaded area is 1/4. This one has all of them shaded, so the shaded area is 4/4. But we wouldn't say 4/4, instead we would say 1 whole. What about this? What is the shaded area here? 3/4. 3 of the 4 are shaded. And what about this one? 2/4. 1, 2 are shaded. Good work. Let's move on. This is 1/2. Draw one hole. How could we make this 1/2 into a whole? Well, we know that 1/2 has two parts because 1/2 is 1/2. But here I only see one part. So now I need two parts. So I'm going to draw that second part. Now, do I have a hole? Yes. I have two parts and they're both shaded in. Let's try another. This is 1/3. Draw one hole. Well, if it's 1/3, we know that it has three parts. I only see one part here, so I need to draw two more parts. So I'm going to make this long. Now I only have two parts. Now I have three parts. 1, 2, 3. Do you see how I made it one whole? I made more parts so that it's 3/3 or one whole. Let's take a look at today's work. For your math worksheet, day 9, May 7th, you're going to identify what fraction that you need to color so that the whole is shaded. Not what fraction is shaded, what fraction needs to be shaded. Then down here, you're going to complete the drawing to show one whole. So the first one says this is 1/2, draw one whole. We just did that. Once you're done, make sure to send a picture of it to your teacher. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We are happy to help. Good job today, second graders. I love learning with you. Have a great Thursday.